Okay, if everyone can see me. So I'd like to welcome everyone to Design Advisory Panel, July 24th, 2025. First, a bit of housekeeping, a motion to approve today's agenda as presented. Angie, and seconded by Alex. Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. So I'd like to introduce a new member of the Design Advisory Panel. Is it Dusan or Dushan? Sorry.
It's Dushan, yes.
Dushan, okay, Dushan Nikolic, is that correct? Dushan, okay. So Dushan is a licensed architect and a heritage professional with about 10 years experience. Specializes in rehabilitation of commercial and residential buildings, as well as large-scale industrial projects. He currently contributes his expertise to Stantec's team, focusing on industrial buildings. So welcome, Dushan.
Thank you.
Okay, there are two sets of meeting minutes we have to approve tonight. First are the meeting minutes from the June 12th meeting. Were there any comments or concerns regarding the minutes? Okay, seeing none, can I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? Okay, great, and seconded? Okay, Kate, great, all in favor? Great, excellent. Okay, second set of minutes, June 26th meeting. Were there any comments or concerns about that one? No? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the June 26th minutes as presented? Okay, Angie, thank you. And seconded by any takers here? Okay, Alex, thank you very much. And all in favor? Okay, great, excellent. Okay, so that's wonderful. We have new form and character design guidelines that have been released since last time, so that should be helpful and exciting. And we have one presentation tonight on a property on 102, 108, 112, 118 Halliburton Street. And Caleb Horn, as our city planner, will you give us an introduction? Caleb, please proceed.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The item on tonight's agenda is development permit application number DP 1389. This application is for a 79 unit residential and mixed use commercial project. So it's 79 dwelling units and one commercial retail unit. The site currently consists of 4 properties that will be consolidated as a condition of development permit. And there will be split zoning on the property with a local service center CC1 zone portion and a medium density residential R8 zoned portion. The relevant design guidelines are the form and character design guidelines that were, as you mentioned, just adopted on Monday night. And lastly, there are 3 variances requested as part of this application to increase the maximum permitted building height from 14 meters to 14.7, to increase the maximum lot coverage from 40% to 41.35%, and to increase the, to reduce the minimum required setback for an underground parking structure from 1.8 meters to 1.2 meters. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. And who will be presenting this evening? Please share your screen when ready.
Oh, that'll be me, Matt Hansen, architect.
Great, okay, please go ahead, Matt.
Will I be able to share my screen? I've got a PowerPoint presentation that I would like to run through.
Yeah, that should be possible.
You should have the permission to if you press the share button at the bottom of the screen.
Okay. Let me just get organized here. What do we see?
Yeah, we can see the project now. If you just want to, you could make it full screen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Matt, if you just go to view and go to full screen at the top of the screen. Yeah.
I don't see where it says full screen. This did not happen in rehearsal.
I don't see it either.
Try- Try scrolling down to the bottom, and there's like the bottom kind of rightish. There's like a square with like a little line coming out of the middle.
Hey Matt, you can do like you should go to the top bar. There's a slideshow. Click that next to between animation. Yeah, there you go, and play from start. Oh, now you have to intro because we can see your. I'm sorry, we can see your notes here for
Okay.
some reason. Use slideshow.
Okay, let's start over here. Sorry, people.
Sorry, I thought that would work. My bad.
Okay, what do you see now?
We see
Noth-
you.
Nothing's being shared
yet.
now.
Okay. Keep trying here. Hold on.
If necessary, I don't know, Bill and Adam, if you have the slides, if you're able to share, and maybe have Matt present while you're sharing the screen.
Okay. We'll try one more time here, but yeah, if we could make it work, we'll share.
So we can see your desktop here, Matt. So
Oh, my boat?
yeah, we can see your boat.
Okay, hold on. Oh God.
Yeah, there you go. We see it.
That's good. That's looking. That's it. That's it.
Okay, there's our building.
There we go.
Sorry, folks. Okay. Okay, I think we can get started here then.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Caleb. Sorry, folks. I might at risk of repeating a couple of things that Caleb just said, but thanks for taking the time to review this project. We always appreciate the opportunity and look forward to the feedback. As discussed, this parcel is located in the South End neighborhood, just a couple blocks away from the downtown core, and just minutes away from the popular fast ferry landing in Vancouver, from Vancouver. To the north, across Finlayson Street, are 3 single-family homes located in an R8 zone. To the east is a collection of smaller single-family homes, also zoned R8. This is the preferred corridor to the waterfront, the view corridor. Directly to the south is the old Balmoral Hotel that sits on another CC1 zone. And then to the west, across the lane, are two-story commercial buildings in a DT12 zone. Some vision from the South End neighborhood plan that provided inspiration was to encourage development close to the downtown core and keeping up with the increased demand and population. We also recently presented to the South End Community Association, and it was very well received. This site itself supports two zones, mostly medium density residential R8 to the south, and local service center CC1 on the corner to the north. The plan is to consolidate the property but not rezone. So the project is designed to meet the requirements of both, including the intent for a small commercial element that supports the immediate community. Our proposed coffee shop has received very positive feedback from the neighborhood groups. As mentioned, the building setbacks will comply to both zones. The existing lane is very narrow and will be widened to the city standards. It's a dead-end lane, so the two developers at the south end, including the owners of the Balmoral Hotel, have agreed to an easement that results in a turnaround for cars and service vehicles. Temporary parking is located off the lane with time-controlled visitor parking, delivery and commercial. Other highlights include an east-west public walkway through the site that will connect eventually all the way to Nickel Street. A community garden space at the southwest corner, and a large public plaza at the northeast corner that will support the coffee shop and be a place for public gathering and interaction. Alyssa, you could speak to more to that when you present the landscape details. The required parking will be underground with access off Finlayson Street. Included is a long-term bike storage, EV charging stations, and scooter parking. Secured garbage and recycling area is located off the lane, near the lane access. We're offering a collection of studios, 1 and 2 bedroom units, each taking advantage of views and natural light where possible. The size and layout of these units has been in high demand and affordable in the local market. In regards to form and character, the design incorporates a balance between solid and transparent massing. A slight change in materials, but a consistent rhythm will ensure architectural interest in an organized and disciplined fashion. There's a central pedestrian entrance that is easily identifiable. And then the massing steps down to 2 levels at the CC1 property to the north. At the north end, reduced to 2 levels, incorporates a more residential scale with a sloped roof, reflecting the smaller 2-story homes across the street. The red painted horizontal siding will pay homage to the little red house that currently occupies the site and will be a reoccurring highlight color throughout. The west side, facing the lane, will be less articulated and have smaller units without decks due to the commercial environment across the lane. The 3-story bump out bays will generate some visual interest, and with alternating colors that create an image of row housing, sometimes common in urban areas. Quality, sustainable products and the Hardy panel family make up most of the material theme throughout. including horizontal siding, panel boards, and vertical board and batten at the upper levels. Color choices are taken from the more popular in the Hardy selections, including the reoccurring Country Lane Red. Just a quick note about the minor height variance. That 0.7 meter requested is to accommodate the raised detail over the entrances to distinguish them from the typical parapet height. I believe the request under 1 meter, planning staff still has the discretion to approve the application without the need to go to council. Crime prevention methods have been implemented into the design solution. Highlighted here is the vast improvement proposed for the laneway, bringing it a whole new level of security and vitality. So, Frontier has been well received by the neighborhood groups and will be an exciting new addition to the urban growth encouraged in Nanaimo today. This time, I'd like to hand it over to Alyssa to walk us through the landscape proposal.
That's great. Thank you so much, Matt.
Sure.
Can you guys hear me okay? So the as Matt said, there's one residential site on the overall site that had some trees. We assess the trees in terms of viability for keeping, but they tend to be kind of smaller, older, some fruit trees, some hedging, nothing that nothing that was possible to keep. And then the rest of the site is bare because it's been used for storage and construction staging. Matt, if you want to move to the next slide.
Sure.
Thanks. So these are split in half just to make it easier to see. But let's start with the walkway that connects Haliburton up to the lane, and that will eventually connect out to Nichols Street. So we have this this public accessible lane complete with lighting, low planting to minimize any risk of septid issues as well. And then the in the I guess the southwest corner is the community garden and amenity space, and that area also has visual access to the walkway so that it feels all connected together. There's a bit of a grade separation between the garden and the walkway, but it's all open visually. And so that we're picturing kind of spaces, so edible planting for people, planting that people can have, as well as trees so people can have their own garden plots, I guess. And then as well as amenity space, all of the things that go along with community gardening, so compost bins and that sort of thing, and some trees and a generous buffer to sort of provide separation between the unit there and the amenity space. Along the front, I guess we continue on the front side on Haliburton Street. The main entrance is clearly differentiated with materials that create a pattern for and separate it from the sidewalk. And then the units on this side of the walkway are sunken units, and they have individual garden like raised beds for gardening, as well as small artificial turf areas for lawn, and then trees and shrubs. So the trees, each unit has a tree planted in front of it, which helps to create that sort of articulation along the street of individual units, and it sort of helps to define those individual units from the street level. And then the path on the south side of those units goes down into a secondary entrance. And I'm spacing it, Matt. Is this a little amenity space down here? Or the amenity space is up above it, and this is someone's private patio. This is someone's
Correct.
private patio.
Yes.
This is someone's private patio. And again, it's sort of sunken down, but open enough so that, there's no septet issues. If we go up to the lane side, we have parking off the lane at grade, and we're looking at gravel paving to help with permeability in that location, and then a buffer of trees and fencing to prevent light shining into the units there, and really focusing on sort of drought tolerant and indigenous plants as much as possible. And then there's the secondary access from the lane to the level 2 as well, and that's we're sort of picturing that's where your Uber picks you up, or where your food drop off is, and that sort of thing, as well as visitor parking. Do you want to go to the next slide?
Sure.
Great. So, and this side, as there's just a little bit of a grade change that's happening from one side to the other. So if you look at where the main entrance is on L1, if we're going along Halliburton Street, these patios start to be a little bit above grade as we go towards the north. But it's the same articulation. So everyone's got a little private yard. Everyone's got with like little steps up to it. So there's good soil volumes. Everyone's got a private raised bed for gardening. And then there's street trees there's on-site trees that sort of promote that feeling of individual units, and planting to minimize the walls as we get some little walls there. Once we get to the corner, the vision for this corner is to have it be a coffee shop or little restaurant, something that can be a bit of a community hub, and to provide sort of a shared amenity space for this coffee shop, but also amenity space for the residents. And right on the corner of Halliburton and Finlayson, there's a little plaza area that is created that's sort of part of the neighborhood amenity. And then you go up these stairs, and we've designed the stairs to be these sort of wedding cake stairs to allow people to sit and look out. The views down Finlayson are really nice to kind of have a nice connection to the street in spite of the great elevation change. And then the amenity space is an open space with so there's stairs on one side, but then as you go up Finlayson, you meet grade, and so that the entrance off of Finlayson, right where Matt's pointing to there, is flush with grade. And so this is going to be paved with like a nice quality stamped concrete, so it has a really residential sort of feel to it, and provides sort of like I said, a mix of sort of amenity space for people in the building, and then coffee shop space as well. And we're picturing our bike parking being there. It's a nice open area. There's good oversight. And if we go up to the lane, on the lane side, we have this big space that is off slab where we can plant some big trees in the corner. So that's a good opportunity. Garbage storage, so we're kind of screening the garbage storage from Finlayson as well. And then the lane continues the same pattern where we have parking. We have this main pedestrian connection to level 2, and then we have layered planting in the background to provide both screening from car headlights, but also so when people are looking out the window, there's a nice view of greenery from the windows, and to provide a little shade in the summer as well. And the those areas are over the parkade, so the trees have to be smaller trees. We can't do really large trees over the parkade slab. Do you want to go to the next slide, Matt? Great. Yeah, so this is just planting. It's a mix of drought tolerant, indigenous, and sort of low maintenance plant material. Really looking at what survives well, provides some seasonal interest, and some year-round sort of screening as well. And you can take a look at the plant list if you want. We've got lots of trees going in to replace the few trees that are coming out. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, so same. And then I guess the only other thing to note really is at the coffee shop corner there, we have some tiered walls. And so we're making sure that we're using planting to kind of minimize the visual impact of those walls. And I think we've got a section right after this. So if you want to go to the section, that might clarify what that looks like. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So yeah, so we're stepping the slab to create the soil volume there to help kind of minimize the walls on that corner. And so it really, I think it kind of ties in nicely to the street, but it still keeps it open. So there's a good view, there's good prospect and refuge from the upper level and also from the lower level. So we're really trying to minimize opportunities for creating perception of a lack of safety, as well as actual sort of hidey spaces or anything like that. And Matt, if you want to go to the next slide. So just a note on fences and gates. So we've got some solid privacy screens between the units. We have some solid fences for screening along the back. And then we have picket fences along the front and also along the laneway to make sure that it stays, open and has good sort of visual access and oversight. I think that is all my slides.
Mhm.
So thank you very much for the opportunity to present it.
Thanks, Alyssa. I'd like to bring Scott from Herald Engineering to talk a little bit about the civil engineering.
Right. So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think kind of as Matt mentioned at the beginning there, the site is kind of bordered with three frontages. We've got Halliburton Street kind of being the main frontage with the main entrance, but we've also got frontage on Finlayson, which includes the access to the parkade, as well as this kind of lane frontage. So there's sort of two different like cross sections we'd be looking at here. One would be on Halliburton Street and Finlayson Street, have the same kind of prescribed cross section based on the designation of the roadway, which is actually a continuation of the sort of wide sidewalks with street parking that's reflected on some of the previously recently completed developments further to the south on Halliburton Street at the corner, and then you can sort of see at the bottom there, I think it's 119 sort of across the road from this one. So there's sort of some consistency there with bringing the same cross section around there. And then on the lane, currently it's a very narrow lane. It's only a couple meters wide. So as part of the development, that'll be kind of widened out to closer to a full width lane, and including that sort of short-term and visitor parking that Matt mentioned previously, as well as the, it's not shown on this plan, but the future hammerhead turnaround that would be done as part of the another project there. In terms of on-site servicing, obviously we've got an underground parkade and building taking up the majority of the footprint here. We have water servicing coming from a water main on Halliburton Street. You can kind of see kind of the bottom of the page there at the, I guess it would be the southeast corner, with a meter outside, backflow prevention in the parkade mechanical room. Sanitary servicing as well, just coming out the building corner on the north end to Halliburton Street. And then a sort of a site stormwater system that would also connect near the Finlayson Street intersection there with an on-site detention system that'll capture all the roof leaders and sort of surface and planter drains and everything, collect them there, detain the flows to pre-development levels for a forested site here, and then sort of slowly release those into the downstream system, which heads to the north to, I believe it's Crace Street, before turning and heading into the outletting directly into the harbor there. Yeah, as Alyssa mentioned a little bit as well, as much as possible, there will be some sort of localized landscape features here, which will also serve to kind of slow down some of the stormwater and sort of retain some of the rainfall that lands within the soils, within the tree wells, landscaped areas, plantings, and any other soft surfaces around the site will also contribute to the stormwater plan. I think that generally about covers it.
You got another slide here, Scott, if you need a reference.
Oh, yeah, this is just sort of a more clear, the second one's just a bit of a more clear drawing showing the extent of the frontage works there. So you can kind of see the pavement reinstatement up to the center line on all three frontages, with the sort of 4.6 meter, the wide sidewalks on the Finlayson and Halliburton Street frontages, and then the parking bump outs where possible to get some more sort of local parking there.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Scott. Yeah, that's it for our presentation. Thank you, panel, for the opportunity, and we're looking forward to your comments.
Okay.
Perhaps I should stop and share and we can carry on, or?
Yes, you may stop sharing now. Thank you, Matt. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, Alyssa, and Scott, for the thorough presentation. So we'll get started, but first of all, to panel members, are there any questions to staff? Okay, anybody? Okay, so I have one question to staff. There is a right-of-way that's there, and we're looking to pinch into it a little bit, so we're looking for a relaxation there. Has the staff looked at it and what kind of impact it will have on services or future planning of that area?
My apologies, sorry, and you're referring to a right-of-way. Which right-of-way are you referring to?
It's
Or are you referring to the variance request for the underground?
variance request for the
parkade?
projection into the yard.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, that is being reviewed by our engineering department. Typically, that setback is there for just considerations when it comes to shoring up against city streets, and then also in case of future road dedication. So it will be reviewed to ensure that we can support that from an engineering perspective.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next part of this is the panel has the opportunity to ask questions and give feedback. Let's see, Kate, would you be able to start today?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you for the presentation. Yeah, it was really great. Yeah, it's great to see. It looks like tree canopy coverage is really being prioritized, and I appreciate the effort in the planting plan to use drought tolerant and native species where possible. That's great. Some comments. I think I'm sorry, when I just look with that. For the main lobby entrance, I'd suggest looking at the bike locations. It looks to be too narrow to have 4 stalls. and still achieve the, the width for that main entrance. You're not just walking between bikes to get to the main entrance of the building. So I'd recommend looking at the bike placements there. I second the comments that the plaza node feels a little bit underutilized, perhaps looking at adding of some public seating in that area. And the ratio of I think it's referencing the whole node as a public plaza, but that feels quite a bit constrained between the stairs and then the planting, and there isn't enough, public usage of that corner. It looks like there's a fence running right along Halliburton. And I'd suggest looking at pushing that back to the edge of the lawn area, rather than it looks like right now it's going to be fence, street trees, and then screening. And I'd suggest pushing the fence inwards. It looks like from the so that public space reads a little bit better from that perspective. What else? I wondered if it was considered if the underground parking access could be from the laneway instead of off of Finlayson Road, if that was looked at.
Matt, if you'd like to respond.
We did look at that. With the grades, as they slope up from the street along the lane, the further you go, it right away makes it too much grade to get down, and it just worked out. It works out better off Finlayson, and we tried, but it just didn't work out the grades.
I'd suggest then perhaps just looking at some screening, some planters or something, a green screen on that arcade wall. I'm not certain, without seeing a section cut through there, but just concerned about that interface with the, city's plan to have that be a bit more of a used street. The other thing would be then, I think, I don't know if I heard this right, but it sounded like there was going to be a 4.6 meter wide sidewalk on Finlayson Street. Is that correct?
Yes, that's on Halliburton and Finlayson Street. Sorry, I think you cut out a bit there. Say it again.
4.6 meters wide sidewalk?
Yes. Yeah, that's in the city's MOES, Manual of Engineering Specs.
It seems really wide for a sidewalk.
It is installed currently in the kind of the south part of the block for those other developments that have gone in. And on those ones, we did sort of take that into account a little bit and add some like street trees in grates and that kind of thing to sort of narrow it up and break it up a little bit. So that's a consideration that was made on these ones, and I think the intent also would be to do that on this one. I don't think we had exact locations shown on our plans.
Okay.
Melissa or Matt, you can elaborate on the trees if you have anything at this point.
Yeah, I'll add that we did do that on further down on Halliburton and put the trees in tree grates. But the cross section is for that whole thing to be a paved sidewalk with opportunities for putting in trees and tree grates. So it's a wide sidewalk to allow for multi-use. I guess it's a multi-use. The idea is that it's a multi-use path.
Okay. Is there site furnishings then in that 4.6 meters, or just a clear?
We haven't done site furnishings on other. I don't. That's a good question. I don't know what the city doesn't have a standard for that. I don't think.
Kate, if I could jump in here, there has been mixed reactions from those new sidewalks that have gone in across the street. And we are working with the engineering department to discuss what, if any, options there might be. At the moment, there doesn't appear to be any, but we're still working on it.
That's good to know. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it looks like for this neighborhood, perhaps considering lessened, or at least, like as you suggested, additional street trees on both sides of the frontage, and then site
Yeah.
frontage possible for that width for this amount of foot traffic you'd expect for this area.
Yeah, so the other revision that we did make at those previous projects was that a portion of it was sort of within the street tree corridor. I think it was there was a stamped concrete pattern portion on it, so it almost it narrows up the walking path a little bit and creates a more of a sort of a separate tree corridor and then pedestrian corridor. But yeah, that is definitely something we've had conversations with the engineering department about, and probably will on this one as well.
Yeah, I think other than that, I mean, it's great to see there's some urban ag added, which is lovely. I think the only other one would be the consideration of a rooftop amenity space. It looks like the new guidelines now are recommending that. So recommend considering that. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Kate. Angie, if you could please go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, thanks again for the presentation. It was great to see the different renders there as well. And great to hear that the feedback so far from the community association has been positive. Yeah, I think this looks like a really well suited development for this area. I really like the use of color throughout, with those pops of red. That's really great to see. And it looks a bit different than some of the other new developments that are in that area, but still, ties in well, I think, with those. So that's great. One thought I had was just on the first level of underground parking there. It looks like the bike storage is kind of in the southwest corner, I guess. And I wondered if there was an opportunity to maybe swap that with the storage area that's located right at the ramp entrance to the parkade, to just kind of avoid some potential cyclist and vehicular traffic collisions there. So that might be something to consider if there's an opportunity to swap those two uses. That'll provide a quicker route out of the parkade for the bikes. Yeah, there's also, I didn't see a bicycle maintenance area, and just wanted to note if there hasn't already been one set aside, that would be something to consider adding, again, in a kind of easily accessible area for those bikes.
I could jump in.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that we do have a bike wash area. It's near the elevator core there. Above.
Right. Okay. I see the dog wash kind of mixed use there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe there's an opportunity to add a bit of a workbench there to do bike maintenance or something there. It looks like there's maybe a bit of space, so if there's an opportunity there, I think that's something to consider, to have accessible for this area. I know this is a good bike route, and I'd expect a lot of folks will be using those facilities here. Yeah, I guess I did have a question for that. This is the intention of the sidewalk to also have a delineated bike section, like a bike lane, or is that expected to just be solely pedestrian?
Scott?
So you're talking the sort of the wide sidewalks along each frontage?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, for these, these are based on the city's sort of designation of these two road frontages. But I believe for these are local roads, so the intent is that they would be sort of low speed roads with bikes sort of going down the sort of the asphalt, like the drive lane, and then pedestrians being on the sidewalk.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, okay. I think, yeah, I mean, if there's an opportunity to just because I know this is a fairly, a street that's had a lot of new developments. So the street parking is quite, quite busy, and that street is a really slow street, I would say, for traffic. But yeah, if there is an opportunity to use some of the space from the sidewalk as a bike lane, maybe that's an option as well, particularly along the Halliburton side. That could be helpful. Yeah, I would echo Kate's comment about the rooftop amenity space, particularly because the west side of the building doesn't have the balconies, and there's such a beautiful view here. It would be lovely to have even a portion of the roof be an amenity space, and alternatively, or as well, something to consider maybe here with this nice big flat roof is having it be solar ready. Having the electrical rough-ins and everything available, so that if not added right away, it can be something that's a little easier to add in the future as well. That's everything from my end. Thanks.
Thank you, Angie. Dushan, want to take a stab at it?
Hi, thank you. Really like the design itself and how it sits on the site. And other two have mostly said everything. I couldn't find any particular details that I would add. The maybe only thing is, yes, to consider maybe some more amenities to the residents. Even though the garden seems appropriate for the location and for the position where the building sits, and also what I'm just going to repeat, probably the space in front of the coffee shop area seems a bit underutilized, where the covering portion seems a bit empty there, and in some spaces a bit too wide, a bit too narrow. So I think there's more opportunity for that to be kind of maybe reworked or thought through, especially because there's an exiting point from the residential space there, and it has a pocket. That pocket can be vandalized in some manners, especially because it's open to the public. And it's just some things to think about while maybe approaching that area. From the other side, mostly the backside looks fine to me, and it's securely protected. When I've noticed the wood guard screens around the trees, which is pretty good. I did have some maybe comments on the sustainability and maybe energy efficiency, and maybe Matt can comment on that a bit. I'm not sure if I caught anything him describing, or if there's anything in the guidelines, since I'm kind of new and still going through the guidelines still.
Regarding the building performance?
Yes. Yes.
Well, we are pursuing a tier 2 for bonus density, and that is going to require a step code 3 designation, which is a higher rate of performance than before. And it's one of the reasons why these buildings that are designed today and in the future are going to be less articulated, more controlled over window volume, because of the demand on the energy performance of the building. It's one of the reasons why we have the smaller units at the back without balconies facing the lane. It's because every time you add elements like that in what we call articulation, it's sometimes a detriment to the performance of the building and its overall energy performance. So these when you look at the building prospect across the street, it's got a lot of ins and outs. It's very interesting. And even the one that's being built now down the block, the Lumina building, again, very articulated, but a challenge to meet today's standards on an energy level. And so this building's just creating more architectural interest in other ways with color and material and decks in the front facing Halliburton. But yeah, otherwise it's a fairly disciplined design.
Right, noted. And yes, seeing on the backside where the parking is, there is quite a bit of sun exposure, if I can see it from the 3D model, and maybe I see some windows having direct exposure where usually most of guidelines suggest some type of shaders are outside, but that's mostly can also be mitigated through the curtains and any interior devices. So yes, that's mostly what I have.
Okay, thank you, Dushan. And just to for our notes here, you mentioned earlier about site security and on one area that you had flagged. Did you have a particular recommendation for that you could summarize in a sentence?
Was that to me?
No, that was Dushan.
Oh,
for the security about the pocketing there. Well, yes, it's mostly just either looking into flushing it with the coffee shop face of the wall, because I've seen it's quite inside there, and usually, I mean, yes, Vancouver has more theft and crime here, and it's more present. So we're usually trying to remove any kind of building pocketing, and that's something that I'm seeing even throughout this building. It has some. It's just that I've noticed that detail there, that it's quite inside.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is that everything, Dushan?
Yep,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Great. Alex, if you may.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation. So I like the scale of the building. I think it fits in nicely with the neighborhood. I like how you're paying homage to the former Little Red House on that lot. I think that's a nice touch. I love the wide sidewalks. I think it's awesome. I think it just makes a more usable, walkable neighborhood. I think more buildings need to adopt that. I also like the easement for the turnaround in the lane. I think that's just going to make the lane more functional for emergency vehicles and things like that. So yeah, really overall, I just have those comments. I think it's really nice. It's going to fit in nicely with the neighborhood, and I'm excited to see it built. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Councillor Hilary Eastmer, please.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. Looking forward to seeing more housing density along Halliburton, which is really coming along nicely. The wide sidewalks are really in keeping with those new developments and the guidelines. I really appreciate all the panel comments so far. I think it covered off basically all the questions that I had. Yeah, I mean, to me, the colors are a little bit muted, and I kind of wish they were maybe less so, but I like that there's at least a bit of a stretch from the white, black, and brown that we see on a lot of other developments. There's a bit more diversity there. And yeah, obviously support all of the variances, and I think the rooftop amenity space would be awesome to have. But yeah, otherwise support the other panel comments. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Hillary. Okay, and just to I believe that's everybody from us. So just a few comments from me. I agree with the city's comments about potentially adding Juliet balconies to the west side, just because we've all lived through COVID and it's just so nice to be able to really kind of get out there. Then the other comment about increasing amenity space on the rooftop, but that would also include maybe reducing some of the parking per the city's comments to expand the amenity area on the ground floor. It was a good suggestion. I really appreciate your care and attention to the CEPTED principles. That's really nice, and it's also part of the new form and character design guidelines. Wanted to ask, just in terms of building massing, why the balconies on level 4 don't use the level 3 roof to just for the balcony, and why instead we're kind of offsetting it and having kind of a blank rooftop area next to the balcony, just as a design question for Matt.
Oh, typically, well, yeah, basically that was for a couple of reasons. One is that the level, those decks would be entirely covered by the deck above, and also to prevent any kind of you know, privacy overlook from the deck above to the deck below. I think that would be a little bit awkward if they extended that far.
Okay, so it was for privacy. Okay.
Yeah, privacy and weather protection. Yeah.
Okay, so is there, and I know it's kind of tough to detail, that's why I'm wondering, is there any room in the floor plate to maybe do a green roof on that roof next to the balcony? So just so that you're not looking at gravel right off your balcony on that level 4?
Yeah, green roof is sometimes a difficult subject in the building, you know, environment these days, with you know, trying to get the right system that's going to be supported by the insurance providers. It's proven to be a little bit difficult to date. So I would say that we could look into it, but I wouldn't want to have to commit to it.
Yeah, it would just be nice to use that portion of the balcony because it's already there, right? And just maybe make the balcony a little longer since it's already present.
Yeah, we can certainly take a look at it. Yes.
Okay. All right, and okay, with that said, let's move forward with the recommendations. I haven't heard any strong objections to any of the 3 variances that were presented, unless anyone wants to express them now. But I think we'll put our support behind that. In terms of other recommendations, maybe panel members, if you could help me with what we have here. I think I'm counting 14 or 15. Dushan, just for the window shading, did you want to make that a formal recommendation, or did you just want to leave it up to the future tenants and clients to deal with that?
Yeah, we can just leave it to the future tenants if it's not the actual requirement. It's
Okay.
I don't see any problems with it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that leaves us with 14 recommendations, so I'll just go through each one. For the lobby entrance, consider consider moving the bike stall location at the main entrance or reconfiguring it. Second recommendation, add public seating at the plaza to increase public usage. Consider moving the fence inwards. Now, Kate, if you want to clarify that a little bit, how maybe there's a better way to express that.
Just, yeah, moving the fence inwards to the parkade line rather than against the property line along. Yeah.
To the parkade line, okay.
Along Halberton. Yeah.
Okay.
So assuming I'm saying that right.
So consider moving fence inwards to the parkade line along Halliburton. Okay, consider screening along the parkade wall of the underground parking. Number 5, consider site furnishings on the 4.6 meter wide sidewalk.
And street trees, yeah.
And street trees. Okay.
Sorry, can I jump in here, Margaret?
Sure, Matt, yeah.
Just a question on the street furniture. If that is something that's not going to be permitted by engineering, then we would have to, not consider that. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
If I may, sorry, Marta, I would just add for the design panels information, offsite works do not actually form part of the development permit. You are free to make a recommendation, but as Matt alluded to, that typically isn't determined until after the DP approval at the building permit stage.
Okay, so would it make more sense to leave it off this time?
I'll leave it up to you if you want to still make it a recommendation, but it won't form part of the development permit if you do make it as a recommendation.
Okay, so keep it off, and maybe that's something that Matt can discuss further with yourself, and yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, and anything on the frontage does go through review through engineering and transportation at the building permit application, so.
Okay, so, okay, number 5, recommending a rooftop amenity per the design guidelines. And this is echoed by almost all the panel members, which is wonderful. Okay, number 6, bike storage in the southwest corner. Consider swapping that with the storage at the ramp entrance. Okay, number 7, add a bike maintenance area. Okay, number 8, and this is maybe Angie can help clarify this one. We had you had recommended electrical rough-in. Was that for any particular? Was that for solar? Or was that for electrical?
Yeah, for solar, yeah.
For solar, okay. So that would have structural implications as well, potentially. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can just keep it general as consider rough-in, like just rough-in for
Consider
solar.
electrical rough-in for solar, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can even take electrical out of it and just consider rough-in, and that kind of considers all the different disciplines to have their input there. Yeah.
Okay.
Might have some impacts if there's some rooftop amenity, but yeah, something to consider if there's opportunities.
Okay, great, Angie. Thank you. Okay, number 9, coffee shop wall to be flush to remove the pocket per SEPTED. Okay. Number 10, consider less muted colors.
Oh, Was there I think that comment was just that. I don't know if it was to be considered as a recommendation, but more of a comment from staff. I'd just like to get some clarity on that, because it sounded like throughout kind of tonight that the colors and the concepts were quite well supported.
Okay, Hillary, is that something that you would like to have as just a general comment or a formal recommendation?
Yeah, I'm okay. If no one else really brought that up, so I can just leave that as it was a comment and see how it plays out. All good. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so that's 9. And then 10, level 4, consider extending the balconies to cover programming below on level 3. And then I'm not sure if we need to formalize this as part of our minutes, but just echoing some of the staff comments, which is comment 11, adding Juliet balconies to the west side, and 12, reducing parking to expand the amenity area. Okay.
Another question, Marta,
Yes. Mhm.
as we go through this. I think I know the answer to this question, but I just want to ask for clarity on behalf of the developers and anybody else who might be listening. The list and the recommendations is something that we're going to take away and work as a team amongst the developer as well as the planning department to determine what we can do to incorporate these into the design, or for whatever reasons that I'm not thinking of right now, it becomes unfeasible for reason number X or Y. Then it's something that we can rationalize and defend, and perhaps it can be taken off. It's not really the right way to word it, but I think you understand my question. Like, for example, with the city staff, when they recommended expanding the amenity space and into the parking area, that particular spot, that amenity space was designed because the building steps back there, and we're allowed to create a buffer there with landscaping between that unit. And if you expand it into the parking, well, first you lose some parking stalls, but also you're that much closer to those units on the ground floor that are now being protected, by the buffer and the fencing. And if the amenity is expanded past that boundary, it's going to create some problems. And just speaking with landscape and the development team about that it's not something that we would prefer to do.
Okay. That is
Now, that is something historically that we would discuss with staff and rationalize that, and then make a determination of whether or not it's going to be feasible to make the revision.
Yes, I think that is something that could get rationalized with staff if needed.
Maybe just through the chair, I can just add, yeah. So when we do receive the recommendations from the design panel, we do work with the applicant to see what may or may not be able to be accomplished. It's not always that every single recommendation is followed 100%, and we review that with the applicant. It's only where the design panel does request that the application return, if there's something major that they have a concern with, that we would actually work to make sure it is addressed before it moves forward. These are recommendations; they aren't requirements. So we do make our best effort to work with the applicant to address the design panel comments.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that clarification, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Caleb. And just to be clear, I think the list that we're building here is very good. There's some comments are excellent. So I'm not trying to be negative. I just want to get some clarity.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's great. Okay, so with those recommendations, that's 12 recommendations. Did I miss anything? Panel members, is there anything that you'd like to add? Okay, so can I have a motion to accept the project as presented with these recommendations as well as support for the 3 variances? Angie, and seconder. Dushan, was that a hand? Yeah, okay, we got a seconder, and all in favor? Okay, great. That is great. So again, thank you, Matt, for your presentation and for coming in and for taking the time out to do that. We don't have any other business this evening, so if I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, Kate.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, seconder. Angie.
Thanks so much,
favor?
everyone.
Okay, thank you. Take care, everyone.